Thank you for staying with us. Our attention is on Kaduna State this morning. Senator Shehu Sani is my guest. But let's quickly take Ada's call from Jos before we get back to the senator. Good morning, Ada.
Hello, good morning, Ifeanyi. Good morning, distinguished Senator Shehu Sani. It's unfortunate that Shehu Sani could not make it because of the kind of money politics we play in Nigeria. But all the same, God's time is the best. Sometimes, someday, he will still feature. Having said that now, insecurity could be a reason for non-collection of PVCs on Kaduna, that is not having enough people collecting it. Another thing is debt. Kaduna has been unfortunate. It has had a lot of insecurity killings, one too many, and so some people might be dead. So why can't INEC find out whether those PVCs that are dead, whether they are dead? They can find out through the traditional rulers, the clergy, and what have you. They can use them to find out if they are dead or alive. If they are dead, then they can destroy them. Not every time they're announcing that they have so much PVCs there. Then I commend the military for what they are doing, in combating this insurgency. But I think one thing is missing. The thing that is missing is that they don't do it simultaneously. They carry it out from state to state. So by the time they are finished with Zampara, the soldiers have an opportunity to escape to adjoining states. They go to Katsina, they go to Kaduna, they move down, the military moves to Kaduna. By the time they finish with Kaduna, they move to another. So there's a way federal government can back them up and let this thing be conducted simultaneously, so that we can switch them out. But if this process of this issue of insecurity is not handled nationwide, it's going to be an issue. People will be afraid. Even my own state, Imo State. I saw my governor, go to President Buhari, and they said they are giving him some military backing and all that. So that should be done everywhere. That's technology. Technology should be used everywhere, especially the flashpoint. So again, INEC can also deal with NYSC. To use coppers to also help in distributing these PVCs, because it looks as if they don't have enough manpower. Because there are some places people will queue up there for hours, and that can be frustrating. Not give up on this one. People should not sell their PVCs, and then INEC, those people that are buying PVCs to suppress, to bring about voter suppression, which is another form of vote buying, they should persecute them. The problem we have in Nigeria is that we don't persecute anybody. Nobody is punished for any offense. All the same, let's not do our Nigeria, it shall be well.
Thank you, Ada, for your contribution. Senator Sani, thank you for staying the course on the program. You heard Ada talk about the issue of insecurity in Kaduna. You also raised the issue with Southern Kaduna earlier. Some civil groups are already raising concerns about how secure that part of the country will be ahead of this election. Yes. What are your thoughts about this? Senator Sani, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you faintly, but you go on.
Okay, I'm asking about your thoughts as to security concerns ahead the 2023 general election, particularly in Kaduna.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Well, I've said it earlier, that insecurity has seriously affected the ability, capacity, and the opportunity that collecting their PVC and also exercising their civic responsibility. I know parts of Kaduna where more than 50 to 60 villages have packed and have moved to bigger towns as a result of this problem. So I think if we don't move fast in terms of finding these people and delivering these PVCs to them at their new locations, many people will be disenfranchised. And I'm also not comfortable with having thousands of PVCs laying in INEC offices like that without being destroyed, and even during elections time. So I believe that one of the things which INEC has to do for now is to ensure that they empty their boxes at their stores of these PVCs. It's either is delivered or is destroyed. And we can't keep these PVCs until election time because the numbers are very significant.
Indeed.
And in the case of Kaduna particularly, I think engaging these structures is very important because INEC cannot do it alone. There are places where it's so inaccessible now because of insecurity. Not that these things happen every second, but the security of people and the safety of people who are going there matters a lot. And this has to be done even before the election time so that people can at least come to the local government headquarters and vote. If that is not done, I think we will have an election result where many people simply were not able to vote.
I understand you're concerned about the disfranchisement of certain voters, but as to the destruction of PVCs, one would think that the BVAS technology already quells any concern as to whether someone can use another person's voter card with the latest technology. But please hold that thought. Let's quickly take Mazi Okorafo's call from Arochukwu in Delta State, in Abia State. Good morning, Mazi.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning, Senator. Now, you see, this issue of abandonment of cars PVC by people at the INEC office is not healthy. For my own observation, I went there. I collected my own, that was 2 days ago. I discovered that the number of cars that have not collected are more than the one that. Then I started asking them, they said to Oga, we have to manage. And I'm just suggesting to INEC, there are a lot of unemployed within the government. Just go. Let them arrange these cars in alphabetical order. Although the cars are being grouped on zone 0, 0, 0. But if they are to arrange it in alphabetical order, in that their local government office, it will help and make it faster. So that each staff is in charge of rather a surname O or A or B or C, one person or 2 or 3. Behind it, it is very fast. And the question is, I want to find out from our senator. Now, every time you open your radio television, you talk about a problem in Kaduna State. What does it take the chiefs and the youth leaders to mobilize young men and young women to be doing what we call vigilante group morning, afternoon, and evening? All these are honorable members from that area. Deploying those youth, at least stipends, it will help to maintain security in Kaduna State. But the situation whereby everybody relying on the government, it will not work. Honestly speaking, the honorable members, I suggest, honorable senator, call the honorable members from their place. Let them take the charge of paying stipends to the youth to take to the other place.
Good morning, Mazi. Thank you so much for your contribution. The caller is talking about multi-stakeholder involvement in peacekeeping in Kaduna. But just before you talk about that, earlier we were talking about the possibility of destroying uncollected PVCs. INEC is taking the distribution to wards and registration areas as we speak till, I believe, mid-January. But why should we destroy PVCs if we have BVAS that would not allow anyone use a PVC that is not theirs?
Is that question to me?
Yes, to you, Senator Sani.
All right. Well, you see, we live in a country where people are doubtful of so many things and a lot of magic happens. We can talk of beavers, the technology that is involved, but knowing how Nigerians have so much specialized in beating the most advanced of all technology, I think it is safer that PVCs that are not being collected should be destroyed before election time. All these beavers is okay, but we have seen if we in Nigeria, in the world today, if you have people that can hack into accounts of even the most safest of all banks and get money out of it, they can hack anybody, they can go and do anything through any system. And these beavers and whatever technology we have are still being designed by people. So the safest thing to do is when people refuse to come and collect their bill before the election time, this should be done away with. That is very important. And
yes.
as for the question which the other person was asked about Kaduna, well, we have seen it in other states, in Zamfara, in Benue, in Katsina, and in Bauchi State recently. The governors of the state have called on the people to pick up arms and take on these terrorists. And I believe I'm also one who shares this idea that people should rise in arms against terrorists and bandits, because it's quite clear that the monopoly of violence on the hands of these terrorists have made it possible for them to take over people's land, kill and kidnap people at will. But what I will say is that such efforts have not been able to bear fruit in some certain place. There are still communities that have been protecting their villages and towns in Kaduna State. But the level of sophistication of these terrorists, the kind of weapons they are using, is one in which you cannot just pick a rifle or a den gun to go after them. You need as equal firepower like them to be able to fight. So, but the point is that the state, the authority, and the government has not permitted people to use the same arms which terrorists are using. And that's why they can do all those things here. So before you even mobilize to fight, you have to get the permission of government. And will the government give you that permission? That's a different issue. If you are seen with AK-47, even if you are fighting terrorists and bandits, you can be arrested and prosecuted. So in this, it has to still do with the government. Our military, our police, our security agencies are doing but their best, but the best is not enough to prevent the massacre, the killings, and kidnapping that's going on in Kaduna State.
I hear you,
It has reached a
Senator
point.
Sani. Very quickly, let's take Emmanuel's call from Otuko, who's called in from Benue State. Hi, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Nifemi.
Good morning.
Greetings to the distinguished Senator, Shehu Sani. Senator
Yes, good evening,
Shehu
good morning.
Sani, I am proud of you. He's
Thank you.
forthcoming, a very truthful man, very forthright. He speaks without minding whose ox is God. And those are the kind of politicians we need in this country. People who have conscience, political thinkers. We shouldn't mess up the politics. The situation where a politician will come on board and say, politics is a do or die affair. All those kind of languages, they are not healthy. Or that dogs and baboons will be soaked in blood. Or that I'm ready to fight dirty. We don't need to have all these kind of statements in our politics. We need more decent men like Shehu Sani to come into the politics so that we can clean our political circles and make the country great again. Senator Shehu Sani, may God bless you and keep you for us and continue with your forthrightness. Thank you very much. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for your contribution. Well, Senator Sani has tried to return to active politics or to elective position. He defected to the PDP last year. Senator Sani, perhaps we should quickly talk about that. You had lost to Issa Ashiru at the PDP primary. How united would you say you and other aspirants are, and how immune is the Kaduna PDP to the party's internal crisis at the top?
Well, my politics is a politics of principles, of conviction, of an ideology. I have my own principle, and I don't believe that we can change this country if we have to use the same corrupt system that has destroyed our country in order to get out of it. I contested the governorship of Kaduna State, and my colleagues who contested along with me, they shared money to delegates, and the delegates voted them. So that is the corruption in the system. I am of the PDP, but I do not approve of the way in which an opposition party that ought to have set a clear and different agenda in terms of laying a standard for propriety, morality, and sanity to engage in that. But I lost it because they gave money and I refused to give money. But that is a fact. But in that aspect of it, we have a candidate who has won, and he is Isa Ashiru, and there is no problem with him being the candidate, because right now we are all rallying around to see that he cleans the seat of power in Kaduna State. So, and I believe that he has a lot to deliver and to correct and right the wrongs that have been unleashed over the last 7.5 years by Nasir El-Rufai. So this is it. We want someone who can unite our people, the Christians and the Muslims, who will treat everybody with equity, with fairness, and with justice. That is.
All right, we'll work on Senator Sani's network. Let's talk to Rose, who's called in from Aja. Good morning, Rose.
Yeah, good morning, please. I just want to contribute to the slow pace of the collection of PVC. And the way it's going, if you look at the manual way you start looking for one person before they get one person, it takes so much time. And a lot of Nigerians don't have that patience to wait. Somebody suggested using of youth or even the youth corpers. If there are no other technologies of trying to, somebody is waiting at the window, you wait, and somebody is just searching. Let there be something done about the manpower, the manpower to do this distribution. And secondly, I want to also ask if there are provisions to take this collection of voters' card to the people in IDP camps. A lot of people that cannot get to where they are collecting today are lavishing in the IDP camp. Are there provisions to take this down to them? Please, we all want to participate in this. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you, Rose, for your contribution. INEC says it's now moved to wards and registration areas. Hopefully that will help the distribution of the voter cards, but we'll probably be talking about that next week with an INEC official to see what they're doing about it. Senator Sani, if you're still there, earlier on you were talking about politics of ideology. I'm wondering how that works with the current setting in Nigeria, the inter-party collaboration. I mean, like your other colleagues, you have...
very much in politics of ideology.
Just a minute, Senator Sani. I was going to say that, like your other colleagues, you have moved from AD to CPC to PRP, and then I think back to APC, and then currently in PDP. Talk to us about how this ideology works, particularly with these inter-party movements.
Well, if you look at Nigerian political parties, these are not organizational political structures with convictions, with principles, or with ideology, because most of the people who are in APC today were once in PDP. In fact, in the governors, almost 80% of governors of APC from northern part of Nigeria were people who moved from PDP and now in APC. There's something you can find in the ministers of Buhari, with very few of APC people now who have not been to PDP. Maybe Aswaju, his deputy, Shetima, Buhari, Osibanjo, and very few others. But almost most of the APC lords now were the campees from the PDP. And if you look at the manifestos of all the political parties, you can photocopy one and simply put the cover of the other. So there is no ideology, but as an individual, one can have his own conviction. Political party platforms in Nigeria are simply a platform for seeking political power. They virtually do not have, even you can see the Labour Party as it is. When you say a Labour Party, you know that it's a party on the left. It has issues of workers, principles, convictions, rules, and on the left-hand side of the divide. But the person who is heading the Labour Party, he is from the right-hand side of the political divide in all his ideology, his thinking, and his also manifestos. So you can see the conflict. So in Nigeria, we have not evolved through that process. In
Your line is breaking, Senator Sani. So just hold on a bit. Let me take another call and let's hope it gets better. Izzy has called in from Bielsa. Hello, Izzy.
Good morning. How are you? Happy New Year.
Wish you the same. You have 1 minute. Please go ahead.
The topic is very interesting. The issues are very germane. Senator Sani, but the fundamental principle is that the politicians in Nigeria lack political ideology. There's issue of geopolitics from one party to the other, and it's a very sad development. You look at the trajectory, you begin to wonder what kind of politics we are playing. These are seasoned personalities of high caliber, but they should remain in a particular party, sell their ideology. That is why we have internal democracy issues. When there's no political ideology, what will be lacking with internal democracy? These are some of the crises that have affected various political parties, why there's no political stability. That have also affected our leadership process. The leaders, when they get into offices, they prove themselves to, without ideology, cannot be able to read the manifesto of their political parties. Manifesto is lacking. That's why it's the role of campaign. Instead of leaders and presidential aspirants campaigning on policies and manifesto, busy abusing individuals and making comments that are not commentary. You see, Nigeria is a very sad situation. Right now, the country is operating over 33 million more dimensionally poor. And if our leaders don't rise up to the challenge and begin to dictate based on manifesto and cardinal principles of philosophy, it will be very difficult for us. Sani will speak in there, she's a politician, is somebody the whole country respects so much, but they should try to politics with proper ideology, because internal democracy is what has affected our political system, and it has affected
Easy. I'm afraid that's your time. Thank you so much for your contribution. Senator Sani, we have to go now. I get your point about how unorganized political parties are and why it makes it easy for politicians to move easily from one party to the other. Out of the four main contenders, one of them stands out as not to have moved, since his sojourn into politics, modern-day politics in 1999. But we don't have much time. I'd just like you to quickly make reference and hear your comments on what is now being termed a fragmented opposition in Kaduna, a situation where some are saying the likes of Ashake and Nkuyi may split bases that are formerly known to support your party, the PDP. Do you see them closing ranks to give a chance for the opposition in the forthcoming governorship election?
Well, for all I know is that the structure of the party is beyond the gubernatorial candidates. If Asake is a good man, and he has been leading the struggle in Southern Kaduna for a very long time. But apart from him, who are the senatorial contestants of Labour Party, who are the members, House Assembly, who has reps? There's none. PDP is entrenched in Southern part of Kaduna. Without Southern part of Kaduna, PDP could have not been existing in Kaduna State at all. But it has now gained ground in Central and Northern part of Kaduna. So you can see from the local government election that took place some few years ago. So as far as I'm concerned, I do not think that any split within the PDP can be much of a problem. As far as the PDP is concerned, everyone has rallied behind the gubernatorial candidate, which is Isa Ashiru. And then I believe that they will make it in the 2023 election. So internal crisis in APC, in PDP Kaduna is very minimal. Despite Asake contesting from southern part. And there are other people who are House of Fulani from the north who are also contesting other parties. Like you have Shaban, he's contesting ADP, and other people who are contesting from the northern part. So they can also divide votes. But I believe that Kaduna is an APC and PDP state. Any other political party doesn't have appreciable presence here.
And that shows from the past two elections where both parties you've mentioned garnered over 90% of the total vote cast. Shehu Sani, human rights activist and politician, thank you so much for your contribution on the program this morning. That's our show, everyone. Thank you for being a part of it. I am Nifemi Okuntoye. I'll see you again.